Welcome to the Lovecars On the Grid podcast, your global motorsport roundup with me, Tiff Needell, and Paul Woodman.
Welcome to Lovecars On the Grid, your global motorsport roundup. This week, it's quite a dull week, really. Well, not dull, because we've got plenty going on. We've got World Rally Championship, we've got British GT, we've got NASCAR, which is really coming to a bit of a head. World Superbikes.
None of it's dull at all. None of it's
British
dull.
Superbikes. I know it's not mainstream though. It's not dull. It's all very exciting. We're going to kick off with World Rally Championship, which is getting exciting because the gap of the championship is narrowing because Effin is finishing ahead of
Elfin.
Yeah, so it's very close. It's getting close. It is getting exciting.
It'll only work if it reverse of Larson, because he was the one that crashed out when he would have walked the championship at Monza a year ago, and now he almost has to sort of hope Ogier, returns the favour, because he closed the gap by 7 points the weekend. He's got it down to 17. He was second. He was helped by Danny Sordo, because Danny Sordo knocked Ogier down to fourth. And it was a good weekend for Hyundai finally, because they won the previous rally, but they've had a bad year because Thierry Neuville was a pre-season championship contender, but he had a really easy rally up front until the last. Did you see? Well, you were obviously at home. I was busy away filming for Lovecars. You were watching the research. What happened just before that final stage?
Well, I'll tell you what happened. I looked at the website.
You didn't watch it. You had your feet up. You had your feet up on a Sunday afternoon while I was working for Lovecars out in Croatia.
What were you filming out in Croatia?
The car wouldn't start.
What were you filming out in Croatia?
That's irrelevant. The Mackie Mustang GT. The Mackie coming shortly. Okay.
The car wouldn't start. I was just about to say that.
Would you? And then what happened when you tried to push starters?
Oh, it's incredible. You tell the story. Yeah, you tell a much better story than me. It was amazing, really, what happened.
There were flames coming out the exhaust pipe. So he nearly didn't start the last bit.
Flames coming out the exhaust pipe. It was just...
I'm glad your enthusiasm to do research while I'm away shines through. Anyway, so it was the first and a third for Hyundai, second and fourth for Toyotas. The gap's closed, but it's still 17 points. But... obviously, whilst you're at home with your feet up, you researched the points, didn't you? Because he's now 17 points. Now, if you win the rally and you win the power stage, you get, don't you, the 30 points. I knew you'd get 30 points.
Yeah, 30 points. Just to say that.
If Elfin did that, Seb would only then have to finish third to steal the title, or fourth or fifth, depending on how many power stage points he gets. I hate that power stage adding, because you can't really work out all the systems during the rally, because you've got to add these power stage points, which I suppose it's show business. They love that, adding a bit of drama.
Fastest lap, isn't it? Doesn't it happen instantaneously? Because
I don't like points for fastest lap. That's a fast in Formula One, so I don't support that either. So it's just that all these championships are trying to look for an extra way of spicing things up. So you won't really know who's won the rally, even if Elfin's leading it, because the power stage points might sway it one way or the other.
So the smart money's still on Sebastian, but Elfin has a chance. Yeah.
The only chance we've got to wait 5 weeks for the next round and find some of these championships, and this is the trouble that we've been talking about World Rally Championship. It's losing its audience. We haven't, got that much interest. No British round of the rally anymore. And I think the more that you try to build up a bit of drama, like we're trying to help them now, and then it's all dead for 5 weeks, and you forget all about it, and you probably missed the last round because you'll have forgotten about it. But yeah, one championship decided this week was the British GT, the only other big car event, apart from the classics we'll mention later. But and the Barwell team, and well, Chris Needell, my brother's, it's not his team, he's the commercial director. It's very much not his. But they won the championship. They finished fourth. It was an incredibly tight drama. So obviously you were watching this on Sunday before I had to rush to the airport to catch a plane to spend my weekend in Croatia. You would have seen this on because it was live on Sky Sports 1. That's the great thing about it. This final round
on Sky Sports 1.
That it was on, so everyone could watch it. So just how was that tension building when you were sitting in your armchair on Sunday afternoon?
Tiff, let me tell you, the tension was unbelievable. You could really cut the atmosphere.
Why was it? So
you could hear a pin drop, Tiff. It was just incredible. You tell the story. You're much better at telling a story. You tell the story.
So Leo Mikitsky and his pro driver Dennis Lynn, because it's always a pro-am. So, but the Lamborghinis, the bum, it was greasy. They started on intermediate
really
tires,
greasy, yeah,
really greasy. But then the Lambos weren't, and he dropped down to fourth. Now, if they were fourth, and the Mercedes of Jelmer Berman won the race, they would lose the championship. So, as you know, when Jelmer Berman took over and he took the car out, he actually was leading. But then he slid off whilst leading and allowed the second place, the McLaren, that was then down to second. And an amazing drive by Marcus Clutton stayed ahead of Jelmer Berman, and therefore by finishing fourth, McKinsey and Lynn won the championship. But it could have had right to the very last lap. If Jelmer Berman had got past the McLaren, they would have won the title. So that's why I can understand you're on the edge of your seat.
Exciting stuff.
Yeah,
Have you driven a car like that? One of the GT cars? Have you driven one of those around a track?
Only GT4. I haven't driven a GT3 car for a long, long time. But they're fabulous to watch, the Lambos. The worst thing about because the other Lamborghini from Barwell was also with the chance to win the championship. And the opening laps, they were almost banging doors, and the team was just in states in the garage, because actually they ended up finishing third. So Barwell were first and third in the championship, with Adam Ballon and Sandy Mitchell third.
But Barwell have won the constructors, not the constructors. They won the championship,
the team's title, the drivers' championship, then they won the World Euro GT Europe with that one. They won the Pro in that. So they've had an absolutely amazing season. So
what's Chris Harris's? Garage 50, is it Garage 59 for Chris Harris?
Garage 50, but they don't do the British series, the Chris Harris thing. So
okay, I take that back. I take that back. Right, I can tell you some NASCAR. We'll go over the.
It's Mark Lemmer. I should congratulate Mark Lemmer. Mark Lemmer has really Mr. Barwell, and he's the team manager, the strategist, and they did an amazing job. They're a sort of semi-works Lambo team now.
Will your brother get a pay rise?
Amazing year.
Will he get a pay rise after this?
Yeah, brother Chris, he's taking me out for Christmas now. They get a bit of a bonus when they have more prizes coming in. So they've had a fabulous year.
Very good. Congratulations to them and your little crew as well.
With your feet up on the Sunday evening, what did you think of the NASCAR? Are you liking getting into NASCAR now?
Who's that number 5 driver?
Yeah.
Name? God,
did he win?
He won it. He won. Carl Larson.
Did he?
Yeah, Texas Speedway. He did very well.
He did win, yes.
I was quite pleased, actually, that I saw
bits of it. You saw the headline.
Yes.
But the NASCAR's building, whereas, as I said, rallying's 5 weeks before the final round, they're right into every weekend now building up to the grand finale.
But what is NASCAR? Is it like 40 races in the year or 36 races?
Yeah, something like that.
It's nuts.
The Formula One boys. So we're now down to the last 8, the last 4. The last 8 we get cut to 4 for the final. Now we're in the last 4. Even I'm losing the plot now. So we're down to the last 8 that become 4. I've got it right now. So it's 3 races, but it cuts from 8 to 4, the way they run this shootout at the end. And Larson, by winning this weekend, is guaranteed now to go into the last 4 race where winner takes the championship.
So he should as well. It'd be a travesty if he's knocked out at the end.
Yeah, but it's not guaranteed.
I know. So
there's still 7 drivers.
Explain quickly
the next 2 races.
Explain to people why, because of this last sort of knockout stage. But
it's a shootout. It's a knockout system that starts with the best 16, drops to 12, drops to 8, and then drops to 4 for the final race. And it's always 3 races per 4 segments. So we've now got 2 races left to find out who becomes the best 4. So now 7 drivers, the next 2 races, try to get 3 of those spots left in the final round. So it can all change every weekend.
Come on, Kyle.
Kansas
number
Speedway.
5. Number 5.
Now he's in the last.
I know,
4.
but we want him to win the whole thing. Well,
yeah, but that'll be a lottery. The last. First, they go to Kansas Speedway next weekend for a 1.5 mile race. Then they go to Martinsville, which is a half-mile bowl where Bargy goes on, and any one of those 7 could get through.
You say Bargy. I say Argy Bargy. You say Bargy. Yeah,
then the last 4 go to the 1 mile tri-oval at Phoenix to decide the best finisher of the 4 wins the title.
Hang on.
Larson is already the
Hang on. Whoa, I'm confused now. The last 4, so just 4, not 4 people racing, surely.
No, the whole field's there.
Yeah, okay.
So it's still a full race because there's still points positions to be battled for.
I'm glad you clarified
But amazingly, the champion is almost always seems to win overall the final race. So, so NASCAR is boiling over, as I know you've got your feet up watching.
Well, let me tell you, with my extensive NASCAR research, I'm going to give you a couple of little facts. Well, not facts, a little bit of insight into NASCAR. Did you know? I find this incredible. The top driver, so Carl Larson this week at Texas, 58 points he got for that. So in Formula One is typically 25. Well, it is 25 points. 58 points he got for that. 50 for second place, 34 for third place. And there's so many people in the field that it goes all the way down to, I don't know.
There's 1 point difference towards the end. Everyone gets a point.
Yeah, but I found that quite amazing. And I didn't even know that NASCAR was an acronym for National Association for Stock Car Auto Racing. Did you know that?
Oh, good. Yes, I did. Yes. But are these points, because this is the thing with the knockout phase, because the cushion between being in and out to the top four depends on what places you're finishing the race. So 1 minute, because you're fourth, you're +2 from the cut line, and the other bloke's -2. But if the bloke that's -2 overtakes 3 cars, he becomes +1, and the other guy's -1. So all through the race, it sways who's going to make it through. Watch it next time. Just watch it.
I do. I watch all these things. I'm just...
So that was. But then away from the cars, international bikes had a great weekend. The bikes, now the British Superbikes, we go British before World, because they finished their championship at Brands Hatch last weekend. Fantastic racing. You probably watched that as well, because I saw some of it before I rushed to the airport to work for Lovecars the weekend. But Tara McKenzie, emotional really, because his dad won it 25 years ago, Niall McKenzie. And he's with the Yamaha team with this Jason O'Halloran. Now, if you've been listening to our podcast all season, O'Halloran had been dominating the points table for most of the season. But they've also adopted this NASCAR-style last 3 rounds. So it came down to the 8 riders qualified, same sort of NASCAR system. So the points get reset. You get some bonus points for the wins you've had. But it's McKenzie that's dominated O'Halloran in these last 3 weekends. Had a tremendous time. Won all 3 races at Brands. Everyone was in tears. Great ride. I mean, he was chased by Tommy Bridewell and Ducati. Fantastic. Around that Brands Hatch Grand Prix circuit, they were absolutely at it. Neil rubbing, elbow rubbing. And Bridewell actually got second in the championship with O'Halloran third. But it was a fabulous race.
Oh, that must be scary. Anyone that's ever been to Brands Hatch, the paddock, which is it's like a mini Eau Rouge, isn't it? It's such a big undulation. That must
down the hill, up the other side.
on a bike. It must make.
And of course, World Superbikes out in Argentina. Who's that guy that's leading the championship? You know this, don't you?
His name is when you're close as I am to him, you just call him Top Rack. That's all you call him.
Top Rack.
Just me and Toppy. We're like that.
Yeah, you do. Not Top Rack Razgatliargogu. I can't get it.
But when you're close,
Razgatliogu.
When you're close like we are, it's just Toppy. That's all you do. By the way, for those of you that are tuning in, listening, cheers to you, because I've got a red wine. You haven't got a drink here.
No, I haven't had time. I flew in from Croatia doing a Lovecars job, having driven to the airport and a 2-hour flight and 2 hours home. I then spent all flipping afternoon having got home doing my notes because I knew you'd know nothing and haven't even had a chance to open the wine.
Did you work for Lovecars?
I'm having a large gin and tonic.
Did you?
I'm having a large gin and tonic.
Did you work for Lovecars in Croatia this weekend?
Yes,
wow. I don't think
I was keeping an eye on how well my story of the Corvette, which I did for Lovecars in Germany, has been doing whilst you sat at home with your feet up again. That's also watch that. It's great. Watch it. Riders coming. Anyway,
the best thing about that video, the best thing about the Corvette video, sorry to digress, is the comments on it. There's so much love for you. I love it. I love it when people find you on our channel that haven't seen you before on our channel. It's really good. It's good to see. So
Top Rack won 2 races. Scott Redding won 1. Scott Ducati sort of dropped out the points. 3 second places kept Jonathan Ray, who's won it the last 6 or 7 years and tried to keep that going. But now Top Rack's got a 30-point lead. But again, we've got to wait 5 weeks for that last round, same weekend as the last round of the World Rally Championship. But he's got a 30-point lead, but you can get 62 points with the 3 races they have. So every chance Jonathan Ray can turn it around at the last race, which is, I think it's out in Indonesia. They've got a new track.
So, and you've got Scott Redding. He's 3rd place, but I think
he's dropped back. He had a full. But he won the second major race, the 3rd race of the weekend. And meanwhile, on the Saturday before I had to fly off in a rush to Croatia for Lovecars, I was racing at Goodwood. Whereas if you weren't the best live racing, apart from British GT, was of course being down at Goodwood. But Gordon Murray had his whole selection of cars. He had that fabulous new F50 car he's got.
T50.
T50.
Yep.
Bruno Senna drove Ayrton Senna's car around Goodwood.
So the
I
noise
was
must have been incredible. The
Oh,
noise, because the T50 is a V8.
it was lovely.
That's
I raced a Mustang they had a V8 race that was only for all V8s of Chevrolets and Impalas and all sorts. And it was quite funny because I was, you get given, if you're lucky, by the team at Goodwood a car to drive. And I had a lovely man called Colin Soter. Sorry, Colin, I'm not sure he pronounced it. When he turned up, he's hardly raced his Mustang. He's been rebuilding it. And he said, well, Tiff, I hope you enjoy our car, because we are 100 horsepower down and 100 kilograms overweight. Because some people spend so much money on these Mustangs, these Goodwood cars are becoming so tuned up. People are spending £40,000 on engines that will rev to 8,000 revs and masses of power. So we were never going to win.
So many amazing racing driver excuses from you, I have to say. So straight away you're getting it out there. Before you've given me the result, you've told me that you're 100 kilograms over and 100 horsepower down. So what was the result?
Well, first of all, I had a battle with Chris Harris in qualifying. It was wet in qualifying, and Chris was in an even slower Ford Falcon that hadn't raced for 4 years. A bit like me and him had just been given some slower cars. And I caught him up in qualifying, and he wouldn't let me by. He was drifting everyone. I was up the inside trying to tap him. But eventually I got by, and we had a huge laugh after. I wasn't going to let you by. But funny enough, my hardly very well expensive Mustang actually had an illegal gear linkage, which the owner didn't even understand. So I got put to the back of the grid. I dropped from about 23rd where I qualified to 27th.
So the Scrutineering picked up on this, did they?
They always pick up on one thing. And the 4 Mustangs of the 10 that were in the race, that all had this gear linkage. So we all got put at the back. So 4 of us sitting at the back. And I actually moved up to 6 places on the opening lap of the race. But then gradually, as we got to the straights, everybody except Chris Harris drove back past me.
So that's amazing. So Lovecars
had this huge shunt.
That's amazing. So Lovecars Tiff Needell is faster officially than Top Gear's Chris Harris. Amazing.
Yes, official.
You heard it here first on Lovecars.
I destroyed him at Goodwood. Because he was one of the 6 I overtook on the first lap, and we got put to the back of the grid. So I just overtook him at the first corner.
You are so fast. But, nothing to do with the car. Nothing to do with him in a slow car. You are definitely faster. That's amazing. Huge shunt.
Yeah, on YouTube, Emanuele Pirro, the Italian former Grand Prix driver, had a big shunt where Sterling Moss went off for that awful accident. And then, as I came round, I was towards the back, I saw the yellow flags when we waved so vigorously, something serious. But luckily, as I arrived at going into some areas, it was completely upside down Ford Falcon with little Emanuele crawling out through the window on the side. But it was a frightening looking shove. But it's still dangerous at Goodwood. We go there for fun, race these old cars. But the barrier's right next to the track, like what it used to be. And there's no track limit. There's a bit of tarmac in a couple of corners you run off to down at Woodcote. But otherwise, you're in the wall quick.
How special is it driving Goodwood?
100 mile an hour corner. Oh, it's just wonderful.
Is it one of the best?
It's only got 5 corners. This is why I talk about modern Grand Prix tracks, where they have 22 corners. But they're all sort of bland, boring hairpins and stuff. It's got 5 corners at Goodwood. But each corner's got such a different individual cambers and dips and double apexes and late apexes. That it's just so engaging, because you've got this, and then you have a decent straight after each corner. So if you do the one corner well, then you can finish the overtaking manoeuvre. The trouble with 22 corners, you get half a car up the inside onto a straight, and then just as you're creeping, maybe I'll get past him, you're into another corner, and you can't finish the overtake. No, less corners creates better racing.
Good stuff. Well,
that was it for the weekend.
Well, it wasn't racing, but you and I did go around Goodwood. Me driving what was an Audi S8, I think. So maybe we'll put a link to that video here. So if you're a real glutton for punishment and you're watching on YouTube, we'll put a link here for Tiff and I driving around Goodwood in an Audi S8. Nothing to do with racing or a global podcast of race racing whatsoever, but quite a fun little video. Good stuff. So what's on next week, Tiff?
Well, Formula One's back, isn't it? Of course, the USA Grand Prix, where the bump. It was quite surprising. All the MotoGP drivers were moaning about bumps, and they're quite tough MotoGPers, but even they say it's too bumpy. So I think they're trying to smooth out the bump. So I'm waiting to see how much the Formula One boys start complaining. I think it's more of a Mercedes track than a Red Bull. Red Bull have got Adrian Newey back. I didn't know he had this bicycle crash. Really serious about 6 weeks ago or 8 weeks ago. Yeah, he was in hospital for 3 days or something, or 2 days. He's back with the team. So it's a fascinating battle. It's still got 5 or 6 or 7 rounds to go. So plenty of time for that series.
There is a long way to go. W Series is there supporting, so that'll be quite exciting. I think that's the final race for W Series.
Whose head's coming into the picture? Oi, get off our telly.
Get off the telly.
Get out.
No, it's YouTube. Come around it. If you want to be on, you need to come around this side, not around the...
Is that Oliver?
Yes, Oliver.
Hello, Ollie. Stop interrupting my thought. The W Series finishes this weekend.
Yeah.
So one of the ladies will get $500,000.
Unbelievable.
I know.
Look, we're all for it. Anyone that's followed this podcast will know that we're all for W Series. I think it's amazing, and there's some really talented drivers. But it must be such a kick in the teeth to those amazing male drivers as well, the lads, or the people that don't want to. It
looks like a
male or female or whatever you fight these days.
It looks like a two-way fight, 2 races between Jamie and Chad. But British girls looks like they're going to win. Jamie and Alice Powell. Alice won 3 races to Jamie's 2. But the other winner this year, the Finn Emma Kim Elian. She could win it. If the 2 clash out front, she could still get enough points to take a surprise championship win.
God, I was hoping that was going to happen in my last race with the 2 out front, Jeff and Fred. I was hoping they were going to...
You should have been thinking and no, you should have been concentrating on your own driving.
Yeah,
MotoGP, the last round in Italy for the wonderful Valentino Rossi. It should have been the race in Malaysia this weekend. Malaysia got cancelled.
Yeah.
So they got the extra Italian race, the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix at Misano. So yeah, that's going to be that'll just be the whole of Italy will be watching that, and Valle and the yellow shirts, number 46, and Water Hero. Still, 3 more races to go, including this one. So championship not settled yet, but Quartararo looking by far the favourite. And NASCAR, as we said, at Kansas, only 2 races to go to make those last 4.
1.5 mile track, is that correct?
Yeah, this weekend, Kansas, one of the 1.5.
I know my NASCAR.
There are some beach buggies going around on an island in the Mediterranean this weekend as well, so that might be interesting if you're into that sort of thing.
Sardinia, a very beautiful place.
Yes.
Good.
So that's all I have for you this weekend. Report.
Next week,
which
who's it going to be? Let us know in the comments below. Lewis or Max. Who's going to win next week?
Out in Croatia. Well, you had your feet
Circuit of the Americas. Who's going to win? Lewis or Max? Let us know below. Don't listen to him. Thanks for joining. See you next week. Cheers. And guess what Mr. Know-it-all forgot? Of course, it's the grand finale of the British Touring Car Championships at Brands Hatch, where Ash Sutton is hoping to fend off Tom Ingram and Colin Turkington on the GP circuit. I've got a dinosaur behind me. Thanks for joining us. See you next week. Cheers. What are you doing? What are you doing? You're worse than Tiff.